Hi everyone. In this video, I'll show you how you can do a simple forecasting using the forecast sheet option on Microsoft Excel. For the purpose, I'm going to use the same data file that you have downloaded from the Australian Bureau of Statistics. However, I'll be using table 3, which contains the data about different Australian states. For example, let's assume our job is now to forecast the population data for New South Wales. So let's see what data we have about New South Wales population. So for New South Wales, we can have the New South Wales population data based on the remoteness area. However, in this particular row, total New South Wales, we can see the total population data of New South Wales based on different years. In our file, we have data from 2001 till 2023. So the question over here is, can we now forecast the total population of New South Wales based on the data from 2001 to 2023? Let's see if we can do it using the forecast sheet option. In order to do the forecast, first I need to go at the menu bar of our Microsoft Excel, and then I need to select the data menu. In the data menu, you can see we have this option beside what if analysis, which is called forecast sheet. And this forecast sheet option creates a new worksheet containing all the forecasted data depending on the parameters that we set. If we click on this forecast sheet button, we get a window that says create forecast worksheet. This window allows us to manipulate with some input options, and based on the option and data that we input, it will generate a forecast for our upcoming years. In order to do the manipulation, I need to get to the bottom of this window, and I need to click on this small arrow in front of options. So we can see lots of options listed over here. The first option, and that's one of the most important options that we need to set, is called timeline range. So for setting up the timeline range, what we do is we'll delete the existing data that is there, and then we'll click on this small arrow, black arrow, beside the text box. Once we click on this small black arrow, it gives us a better visibility of the data that we have in our Excel file. Timeline range refers to the specific points on the timeline on which we have collected the data, or we have the data. As we said, we have every year's total population data starting from 2001. Our timeline points are 2001, 2002, 2003 till 2023. So in this option, we have to select, or we have to tell the computers that the cell references of the cells which contains these year related data or year references. So my first year, that is 2001, is stored in the cell C6. So I'll select this cell, and then I'll use the shift and right arrow key on my keyboard to select the other cells that contains the yearly data. So on your screen, you can see I'm gradually moving towards right by selecting different cells that has the data or information about different years. And I'm going towards till 2023. So you can see in our create forecast worksheet, we get table 3, that means this is the table, from C6 colon Y6, that means this is the range at which we have the reference of different years that we have considered for recording the data. We'll click on this blue arrow so to get back to our previous window. The next option to manipulate is called values range, and values range as to input the cell references where we have stored the historical values, or that means the total NSW populations for previous year. Similarly, we'll delete the existing content from the text box, and we'll click on the black arrow, and then we'll scroll to the left a little bit, and we'll scroll up so that we can select the right data. So we'll select the total population of NSW for the year 2001 first, and then using the shift and right arrow key on the computer, we'll keep on selecting the data for next years and we'll do it till we reach 2023. So once we reach 2023 and we know that we have selected all the years from 2001 to 2023 population data, we'll click on this blue arrow confirming that we have selected the value range. Next, we'll fill missing points and we'll leave it with the interpolation option. However, for aggregate duplicates by default, it could be written as count A, and we need to change it to the average. That means based on the average value, the data will be, or the forecasting will be made. On the left-hand side, we have by default the forecast start year is 2023, but then the forecast will end till 2029. We can increase this year to 2031 and we can go up to 2050, or even we can decrease the size as well. After that, we'll leave the confidence interval as the default number, 95%. Seasonality, we'll select the detect automatically option, and we'll check this box, include forecast statistics, so that we can see some statistics related to our forecast. So forecast, instead of going till 2050, I'll just make it 2030. I'll make a small forecast here. Once we set all these options, if we click on the create button, a new worksheet will be created along with a graphical view of the forecast, as well as some data about the forecast. So here we can see from the graphical view, the blue line refers to the historical value of total NSW population, while the orange line gives us the forecasted value. However, when we're looking at the orange line, and we can also look at the table, you can see that it says upper confidence bound and lower confidence bound. Now, what does this upper confidence bound and lower confidence bound tell us? The upper confidence bound and lower confidence bound tells us that since we have selected 95% confidence interval, it tells us that if we look at the data 100 times, 95% times, our average yearly population will fall between the upper bound and lower bound. So it, instead of giving a specific forecasted point, it's giving me a range within which 95% times we'll have our original population belong to. On the left-hand table, you can see we have till 2023, we have the actual values, but then from 2024 to 2030, we have the forecasted values. Now it's your turn. You practice with the same data set, and let's see what kind of forecast did you get for NSW or other states in Australia.